All right, so you sent over these excerpts from Rules of the Game, The Second Coming of Trump, and yeah, this book, it's something else.
It really is something.
It goes way beyond, the usual political stuff. We're talking symbolism, conspiracies, like forces behind the scenes.
That's what's so fascinating about what you pick out. It really makes you think about those deeper currents, the stuff that makes you question the whole how the world works.
Right. Like we're in a political thriller or something, but you're here to be our, decoder ring.
I'll try my best.
Okay, so to kick things off, 2015, Trump's campaign launch. The book describes this so vividly. Melania, all serene and white, and Trump comes down that red escalator like something out of Dante. What do you make of that whole image?
Oh, it's incredibly striking, that contrast. And it's definitely deliberate. Color plays such a huge symbolic role, especially in these big political events.
How so?
Well, think about historical coronations, right? The Pope always in white, symbol of purity, divine authority, all that.
Right.
Then you've got the cardinals in red, representing what? The blood of Christ, defending the faith.
Whoa, I never even made that connection.
It's there. So yeah, even back then, there were definitely messages being sent.
Positioning Trump as this force. It's kind of creepy when you think about it.
Oh, for sure. It's all carefully crafted, right?
Yeah.
To evoke specific feelings, associations, and this whole idea of things being staged, intentional. It pops up a lot in this book.
Oh, yeah. Like what else?
Well, think about how Trump was everywhere in pop culture before 2015. Movies, TV, even like a Spider-Gwen comic book.
No way, really.
It's in there. And that's not just coincidence. That's about creating familiarity.
Right.
By the time he gets into politics, people are primed. They're ready to see him in that role.
Like they were embedding him in our minds or something, so his, rise seemed inevitable.
Exactly. That constant exposure, it breeds acceptance. And in politics, that's powerful.
Okay, so then it gets even weirder. The book claims Obama's correspondent's dinner roast of Trump in 2011 was intentional. Like some kind of, backhanded coronation.
See, this is where that whole puppet master theory starts to come in. The idea that none of this is random, it's all orchestrated.
By who, though?
That's the big question, right? But whoever they are, the theory is they wanted Trump as the anti-Obama, chosen by the very forces he later claimed to oppose.
That is mind-bending. But if you believe that, then what's the goal? What's the end game with all this supposed manipulation?
The control, right.
Wow.
If you're buying into this narrative, it always comes back to control. They orchestrate these events, they manipulate public opinion.
And we're all just playing our parts?
Exactly. Like puppets on a string.
So we've got the red escalator, Trump's image everywhere. Then Obama, roasting him, but maybe playing a part in his rise. It all feeds into this idea that there's a script, and we're all just
following it.
Yeah, and it doesn't stop there. This book even analyzes the names of Trump's VPs, like Pence, connected to Pence, a symbol of financial ruin.
See, that's where this analysis really dives deep into the symbolism, the hidden meanings. The book argues that even in picking a running mate, it wasn't about what Trump wanted.
But about who was assigned to him.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And each VP represents some aspect of, again, this hidden agenda.
And then there's J.D. Vance, the guy who, couldn't stand Trump at first.
Right.
It's like the book's saying every move was part of this plan. What do you even do with that?
Well, it's certainly a compelling narrative, even if it is unsettling.
And this idea of a plan, right, like a script that's already written, that really gets intense when the book gets into, full-on conspiracy theories.
Oh, yeah.
I'm talking overpopulation, GMOs being used to control us, even that COVID was, released on purpose. Some of this stuff is out there. What do you make of it all?
I think it's really easy to get hung up on the specifics of each theory, especially when they're as, dramatic as these.
Right.
But the thing is, I think the real value in looking at conspiracy theories is understanding why people believe them. What need do they fulfill?
So it's not about if they're true or not, but what they represent, what fears people have.
Exactly. So, for example, the book talks about this idea that the PCR tests that were everywhere during COVID, they were actually a way to tag and track people, which, on the surface sounds crazy.
Yeah.
But it speaks to this very real fear of government surveillance, especially now with all the technology and everything.
Right. Like this fear of the unknown, things happening we don't know about.
Exactly.
Which, okay, that brings us to another part of the book that kind of freaked me out. The part where Trump is compared to a medieval grotesque. They even found this photo, this grotesque, that looks just like him. And then there's the whole thing about Ivana Trump's death, which the book suggests wasn't an accident, let's say.
Yeah, those parts definitely gave me the chills. But they also play into this bigger theme the book's working with, this idea of predestination, like hidden continuity. If you believe that powerful forces have been, messing with things for centuries, figures like Trump, these larger-than-life characters, they could be seen as those patterns repeating themselves.
History rhyming. But instead of kings and queens, it's Trump. Exactly. And that's what's so compelling, but also disturbing. Like, we don't actually have control over things,
Yeah.
our destinies.
It makes you wonder.
It really does. But okay, before we go too far down that road, there's one more thing I got to ask you about. January 6th, the book claims it was a setup, that Trump wanted it to happen.
Now, that is a bold statement.
Yeah.
But it also, I think, shows how dangerous it is to just blindly follow a leader, no matter how charismatic they are. Don't forget, this is the same guy who, according to this whole theory, was put in place by these puppet masters, right?
Right. So he just, breaks free from them on January 6th. Doesn't track.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And if you look at what Trump did after January 6th, he never pardoned those people. With anything, it seems like he gets off on chaos, on division, but not actually protecting his own followers.
That is chilling. Makes you wonder, who is really in control here? Are we all just acting out their plan?
That feeling, right, of being manipulated, that's been around forever.
I feel like that all the time, honestly, especially when, life throws you a curveball and you're just like, what can I even do? But this book takes it to a whole other level. If they're right, it's not just our lives, it's everything.
That's a heavy thought.
It's wild, right? Like, as unsettling as this all is, there's this part of me that's like, I kind of want to believe it.
It's like that red pill, blue pill thing from The Matrix.
Exactly. And this book is like a giant red pill, huh? But even if we don't buy everything, it makes you think about power, about truth. Like, what do we even believe,
Absolutely.
And it all comes back to that image of Trump on the escalator. It's bizarre, but you can't look away.
It's like a metaphor for his whole presidency almost.
Right. And that red.
It's everywhere.
Oh, yeah. That's not an accident. That color is sending a message. It's powerful.
Red, power, danger, even blood. You think they were going for that?
I mean, it's definitely possible. Remember what we were saying about the Pope and the cardinals? Red has always been used that way, to show authority, but also like a willingness to fight, to dominate. And Trump definitely played that dominant role, the alpha male, breaking all the rules. But if this book is right, he wasn't really in control at all.
It's unsettling, right? To think even the president, he could just be a puppet.
It's terrifying, honestly. And it makes you wonder, what are we then? Just
Right.
background characters in their story.
That's the million-dollar question. And this book, it doesn't give us the answer,
No.
but it reminds us to think critically, to question everything.
It's so easy to just get caught up in it all, the drama, the spectacle.
Yeah.
But we can't just sit here and let other people write this story, right? Whether it's politicians, the media,
No.
even books like this one.
We have to engage with it,
Right.
question it, make our own choices. Even if we are just characters in some big cosmic play,
Yeah.
at least we can be active participants.
That is a powerful thought. So to everyone listening, remember that. Question everything. Be curious. And write your own story. This has been wild. Thanks for going on this deep dive with me.
Anytime. Until next time.